Welcome to Learn English through Book Summary. Here, we break down the best original English books, helping you gain knowledge while improving your language skills. Stay tuned until the end of the video for some inspiring quotes. It is recommended to listen repeatedly. Today, we're exploring the book, The Laws of Human Nature, by Robert Greene. 1. The Law of Irrationality. Embrace your rational mind. Greene opens with a fundamental observation. Humans are not the rational creatures we often believe ourselves to be. Emotions drive our decisions more often than logic does, pushing us toward reactions rather than reasoned responses. To counteract this, Greene urges readers to recognize their irrational impulses and examine their own biases and impulses. By observing our feelings as they arise and learning to pause before reacting, we cultivate a more reflective, deliberate approach. He draws on the stories of individuals who let emotions cloud their judgment and others who learn to master them. 2. The Law of Narcissism. Transform self-love into empathy. Narcissism is, to some degree, present in everyone. However, excessive narcissism, especially in leaders, creates environments of tension and conflict. Greene encourages cultivating empathy as an antidote to this self-centeredness. He explains that empathy is not about fully immersing oneself in others' emotions, but about understanding what makes them tick. Greene illustrates this through historical figures like Queen Elizabeth I, who possessed a refined sensitivity to people, using empathy to gain trust and lead effectively. In our lives, practicing empathy helps in building deeper connections and more cooperative relationships. 3. The Law of Role-Playing. See behind the mask. Everyone wears a mask, a self-crafted persona they present to the world. Greene emphasizes the value of seeing beyond these facades to understand people's true intentions. By being perceptive, we can recognize discrepancies between a person's words and their subtle body language or behaviors. Greene weaves in the stories of legendary actors and politicians who mastered the art of role-playing to captivate their audiences, as well as those who saw through these masks. Practicing this skill helps to navigate interactions with more discernment, shielding us from deception. 4. The Law of Compulsive Behavior. Be wary of repeating patterns. Humans are creatures of habit, often repeating behaviors driven by unresolved conflicts or deep-seated insecurities. Greene points out that to grow, we must identify our compulsive patterns, whether they're rooted in pride, fear, or unresolved grievances. He shares insights on recognizing these patterns, highlighting examples of historical figures who broke free from their compulsions to achieve greatness. Becoming aware of our patterns gives us the chance to redirect our behavior toward constructive, intentional actions. 5. The Law of Covetousness. Harness the power of desire. Humans are driven by desire, which, when wisely directed, can be a source of motivation and inspiration. However, left unchecked, it leads to envy and dissatisfaction. Greene encourages us to understand what we truly desire and cultivate gratitude for what we have. Through historical examples of those who turned envy into a motivating force, Greene illustrates how desire can fuel creativity and drive. By staying focused on our own path rather than comparing it with others, we can find more satisfaction and fulfillment. 6. The Law of Shortsightedness. Develop long-term focus. Greene warns against the dangers of instant gratification and short-sighted thinking. People are often pulled toward immediate rewards and quick results, which can lead to hasty decisions and regret. He stresses the importance of cultivating patience and foresight. Stories of leaders who thought beyond the present and built empires over time remind us that long-term rewards often require resilience and a steady hand. By aligning actions with long-term goals, we can avoid the pitfalls of impulsive decisions. 7. The Law of Defensiveness. Embrace openness. Humans instinctively defend themselves from perceived threats, but over-defensiveness stifles growth and pushes people away. Greene discusses how we can learn from constructive criticism and foster openness, which is essential for progress. He highlights historical figures who managed to channel criticism constructively and those who failed to do so, leading to their downfall. Embracing openness allows us to expand our perspectives and become more adaptable in facing challenges. 8. The Law of Self-Sabotage. Confront your dark side. Our minds are powerful and sometimes our worst enemy. Green introduces the idea of self-sabotage, where negative beliefs about ourselves prevent us from reaching our potential. Green explains how our shadow, the parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore or deny, can emerge and lead to self-destructive behaviors. By acknowledging and confronting these hidden aspects, we empower ourselves to break free from self-imposed limitations and take ownership of our lives. 9. The law of repression, the power of authentic expression. Repression often leads to passive aggressiveness, pent-up resentment, and eventually, explosive outbursts. Green emphasizes the importance of recognizing and expressing our emotions constructively. Through examples of historical figures who mastered emotional expression, he illustrates how honesty and vulnerability can be strengths rather than weaknesses. In our own lives, he suggests cultivating emotional awareness and sharing our feelings openly to prevent unnecessary conflict and misunderstanding. 10. The law of envy. Recognize and redirect. Envy is a powerful and often hidden force that can erode relationships and self-esteem. Green explains how envy operates subtly, often masked as criticism or disapproval. To counter envy, he suggests focusing on self-acceptance and celebrating the successes of others. By turning envy into inspiration and using it as motivation, we can transform it into a positive force that drives us to reach our own potential. 11. The law of grandiosity. Stay grounded. Green warns of the dangers of grandiosity, an inflated sense of self-importance that clouds judgment. He describes how power and success can distort one's perspective, making people prone to overconfidence and poor decision-making. Grounding oneself in reality, staying humble, and seeking honest feedback helps to counterbalance grandiosity and stay on a sustainable path toward growth. Historical examples of leaders who fell victim to their own hubris serve as cautionary tales, urging us to remain humble no matter how much we achieve. 12. The law of gender rigidity. Embrace both sides. Green argues that everyone has both masculine and feminine energies within them, and that rigidly adhering to one side limits our full potential. By balancing traits typically associated with both genders, such as assertiveness and empathy, we become more adaptable and versatile. Historical examples demonstrate how figures like Leonardo da Vinci and Joan of Arc harnessed both energies to create lasting impact. Cultivating this balance enriches our perspective, helping us to connect with a wider range of people. 13. The law of aimlessness. Discover your life's task. Many people feel adrift, lacking a clear sense of purpose. Green calls this state aimlessness, a feeling of being disconnected from one's deeper desires and potential. He encourages readers to seek their life's task, a path that resonates with their unique talents and interests. He shares stories of individuals who pursued their passions with unwavering focus and those who strayed from their paths, ultimately regretting it. Finding and dedicating oneself to a purpose gives life greater meaning and direction. 14. The law of conformity. Resist the pull of the group. Humans have an innate desire to belong, but excessive conformity stifles individuality and creativity. Green discusses how to resist the pressure to conform without becoming isolated. Historical examples of individuals who defied societal norms and influenced others to think differently encourage readers to find the courage to follow their own paths. While belonging is essential, Green stresses the importance of retaining one's authenticity and individuality. 15. The law of fickleness. Earn trust and loyalty. Loyalty is rare and difficult to earn. Green explains how people's allegiances can shift based on self-interest, even when it is concealed under the guise of loyalty. He advises cultivating genuine connections, establishing trust, and avoiding actions that might be perceived as self-serving. He uses historical narratives to demonstrate the importance of building alliances and reciprocating loyalty, reminding us that lasting bonds are built on mutual respect and genuine appreciation. 16. The law of aggression. Channel it constructively. Aggression can manifest in subtle ways, such as passive aggressiveness, and if misdirected, it can lead to conflict and resentment. Green advocates for channeling aggression into productive outlets, such as ambition, creative expression, or assertiveness. This constructive redirection transforms aggression into a source of motivation and resilience, allowing us to harness its power without causing harm to ourselves or others. 17. The law of generational myopia. Respect the influence of generations. Each generation is shaped by distinct events, shaping its perspectives, values, and norms. Green suggests being mindful of generational differences, using them to foster understanding rather than division. By respecting these differences and learning from them, we can broaden our perspectives and build more inclusive relationships across generations. 18. The law of death denial. Embrace mortality. The final law addresses humanity's tendency to avoid thinking about death, a denial that can lead to aimless living. Green believes that embracing mortality fosters a greater appreciation for life, urging us to make meaningful choices and fully commit to our paths. By facing the reality of life's finite nature, we're motivated to pursue what truly matters and to leave a lasting legacy. Your first impulse should always be to find the evidence that disconfirms your most cherished beliefs and those of others. That is true science. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe. Don't miss out on more amazing books.